You
Hmm.
have to just make up your mind, okay, I can
Hmm.
still be successful in my career.
I don't care what medication you take to lose weight or whatever, it's always
Yes.
going to come back to
Okay,
nutrition and, and
absolutely.
exercise.
Absolutely.
Hello, revolutionaries, and welcome back to the Midlife Revolution Show, the show for busy, empowered women ready to transform their lives. I'm your host, Coach Angie, and today we have yet another phenomenal guest joining us, Dr. Tara Long Scott. Dr. Tara Long Scott is a distinguished podiatrist with over 27 years of experience in foot and ankle health. She's a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated and balances her professional achievements with her role as a wife and mother of two. She's known for her dedication to patient care and community, and Dr. Scott brings expertise, compassion, and a commitment to wellness that has made her a leader in her field. Her ability to connect with people and inspire those around her has set a powerful example for others to follow. Without further ado, please welcome Dr. Tara Long Scott. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. What a wonderful introduction.
My pleasure. And I didn't even ask you for it, did I?
All right.
I did my homework. Well, we're just going to jump right into this. I want to thank you again for being here with me. And I want you to share with our audience your journey and what inspired you to pursue a career in podiatry. Was there a defining moment or experience that made you realize this was the path you wanted to take?
Yeah, absolutely. I knew I wanted to go into medicine, but I wasn't sure exactly what area until, unfortunately, my grandfather had a lot of complications with his feet associated with diabetes. And before he passed away, actually ended up losing one of his legs. So I shadowed a podiatrist when I was in college, and that sort of determined my journey, my destiny, so to speak. And at the time, I felt like, oh, I'm going to have normal working hours and all that. That did not work out. However, it has been very rewarding, a rewarding profession for me.
Amazing. So, in terms of your family, how has your upbringing or personal, well, you just shared your personal experience about your granddad, but how did it shape you to become a healthcare professional in more ways than just, what happened? And I know that's huge, what happened with your grandfather. And I love that you took that and said, I want to help other people like my granddad that could be
Yeah,
going through this.
yeah.
Can you dig a little deeper into that for me?
Um, I guess I've always hmm, had a soft heart for I've always
Mhm.
wanted to help like when I was little, like I was
Mhm.
always, can I help my friend do this? Can I, I was always just sort of like that. But my parents instilled whatever I wanted to do when I'm setting my goals, you could do whatever you want to do in your life. Just put your mind to it. There was never even a question about, oh, are you going to college? It was just sort of instilled from when I was very small up until, when I got to high school. It's like, it wasn't are you, it was where. And this came, my parents went to college, but this is coming from parents whose parents on my mother's side did not complete even what was considered junior high or middle school,
Oh, wow.
and my father's mother never completed high school. So,
Mm.
it they instilled the importance of getting an education from, even for their kids, even though they didn't have it, they wanted to see their kids do better.
I
So
love
in my case, forgive the background noise. In my case, um, they wanted me to do better than what they did, and to
Mhm.
strive to be the best that I could be. So, um, you know, again, I've always wanted to help others, and then just wanting to pursue my education, further. It just set it into to roll out in the way that it did.
I love it.
Yeah.
So let's move on to your being a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. How
Yes.
has
Oh my gosh.
yeah, you have three generations, right? You,
I
your mom,
yes,
and your daughter. Yeah.
absolutely. So
Mhm.
that was another thing. There was never a question about that either. So my mom is a diehard Delta who has been very active since
Mhm.
she pledged back in 1968, and
Oh,
is
wow.
still very active with the Detroit alumni chapter.
Mhm.
And so when I was in college and I saw the Deltas on campus, even growing up, I participated in activities sponsored by the sorority. So when I
Mhm.
was in college, it was just automatic that that was
Right.
I was interested in. And,
Mhm.
of course, I always want that for my daughter too, but it's a
Yeah.
decision that, she would have to make on her own. And
Mhm.
she definitely did that when she was in high school. She participated in Delta Gyms. And
Mhm.
when she went to college, I wasn't sure,
Mhm.
it wasn't that I was saying, I said, you don't have to pledge a sorority. You don't have to pledge if you don't want to pledge, but if you do, you know, there's really not any other. She never wanted to do anything other than that too.
No,
So it's
of
a
course.
very proud moment to have
Mhm.
me, my mom, and my daughter all together in January at our Founders Day. And we had an opportunity to actually take a photo with our national president. So
Oh, that's
it was just a
amazing.
great opportunity and just a very proud moment,
Of
proud Delta
course.
moment for me and my mom and
Mhm.
daughter. So yes.
Yeah, congratulations on that again. And I just wanted to know, like, how has your involvement influenced your sense of leadership and service both in your community and your profession?
Gosh. So I've always professionally, well, gosh, in so many ways. I have, as far as from a professional standpoint,
Mhm.
I have participated in health fairs and in diabetic foot screenings and things like that for every year
Mhm.
since I became a podiatrist. As Within my profession, I held several positions: chief of podiatry at Ascension Providence for 10 years. I was chairperson for the state board of podiatric medicine for the state of Michigan. Um, so many leaderships within our professional organization, Michigan Podiatric Medical Association. Um, Within the sorority, I've been active on many committees and serving the community. Um, and even I'm also a member of the Great Lakes chapter of the Links Incorporated. And through that, that's another opportunity for me to give back to the community. We're currently working with some young women who are just out of the foster system. And sometimes when
Oh,
they come out, they're kind of
yeah.
put out on their own. And so we've
Yeah.
had a great opportunity to do some mentoring with those women, those young women, and that has been very rewarding as well. And really, when you are giving back to others, that's feeding my spirit. Like it's
Exactly.
blessing me to be
Mhm.
a blessing to someone else, and I've always strived to do that. Plus, it just gives me joy
Mhm.
when I know that I can make a difference for someone else.
Amen to that. I mean, wouldn't you believe that that's mostly why God has us here? If we're going to be here, He wants us to
Absolutely.
love one another and impact one another in positive ways and help one another, lift up each other. All the things that He does for us, He wants us to do for each other in the physical, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
I love it. So, what role do you believe representation plays in inspiring young women, especially those that you're actually inspiring now in the foster care system and
Mhm.
those pursuing careers in healthcare or any type of leadership role?
I think the biggest responsibility we have is to be an example in what we say, what we do when they see us. Um, to just be the best example. I actually mentor. Uh, Not only, well, I've had several students that have come through my office that were interested in going into podiatry and went on to pursue a career in that. And what was nice that you would ask me that. I got a text today, and even in the last, gosh, it must be a roll on this. In the last, say, month and a half, I've had three of my former residents, female residents, just randomly text me out the blue. One came today. And it just, and I haven't talked to her in 2 years. Hi, Dr. Scott. This
Oh,
is Sandra. And I just wanted to tell you, thank you. Every time I get ready to do a bunion, I think of you. You were the best at that. And I'm so, grateful for how you inspired me to do, you know, inspired me in that way. And I just thought, oh my gosh, out of the blue. And you never know the effect that you're having on someone else, in that kind of situation, especially in a male dominated profession like that, and just inspire other women to know that there's no
yeah,
limit uh, that you can place on there's no limit for you. You can go as high as you want to within the profession. And I'm teaching that to my daughter too. Whatever
yeah,
you decide to
yeah, of
do,
course.
there's nothing that can hold you
I
back. If
feel
you
like you
have
don't even
faith in
have to
God,
say it to her
yeah,
because you're demonstrating it, like you said. You're
and it's
being the role model for her.
yeah. And you can't just say it. You gotta do it. You gotta show, if I can tell you all day, well, you better do this and you better do that. And then if I'm not doing it myself, if
I think
I'm not setting the example myself, then I feel like it's not effective. So I am constantly just encouraging any young women that I'm around, whether it's my daughter, whether it's my residents, whether it's the women just coming out of the foster system, whether it's students pursuing a career in medicine. I really, and it's interesting. I really feel like what God has for you is for you. When I decided
absolutely.
to become a podiatrist, like I never set out to be the head of this or the head of that or the first of this. That wasn't even my, intention. I just wanted to be in a profession that was fulfilling for me, and to be able to have a comfortable life, to travel, when I felt like it, and not struggling, and that was it. That was, and then all of a sudden I had all these opportunities placed in front of me, and some of them I don't even know if I was ready for. At the time, I was thinking, can I do that? Am I, you know? But yes, I could do that. I was
Mhm.
capable of doing that, and I did it well when I was in those roles. But again, it's because that was for me. What God had for me was for me, and I was able to excel in that.
I love it. And as a wife and mother, how do you balance the demands of a successful career with family life? And what lessons do you hope your children take away from watching you lead with passion and purpose?
Yeah, girl. I will say this. I have the most supportive husband ever. And I know I would not have been able to do all that I was
Mhm,
able to accomplish
mhm,
without his support, especially with the kids. And, a lot of times I got off late. But I also, and I had to realize though, at a certain point, what really is most important to me is my
mhm.
family.
Yeah.
And that has to come first. And I will tell
Mhm,
you a real reality check I had one day. And this was when I was carrying like three different really heavy positions in addition to running the practice. And
mhm,
getting home late every night, tired, but still pushing through, coming home, working on the computer, and I came home one night and my son and my daughter were playing with these action figures. And I
mhm,
was like, oh, Jordan, to my son, who was all of just 4 at the time. I was like, oh,
mhm.
what are you playing? He was like, oh, I'm the doctor. And I was like, oh my gosh, you want to be a doctor like your mommy when you grow up? And he was like, no, never at home and tired all the time. I was,
Oh!
oh my God, is this what my 4-year old is seeing out of me? Like, yes, you're this black woman and you trying to prove yourself and be at the top of the game. But when your 4-year old recognizes
Mhm.
that you're never at home and you're tired, that's a problem. And that was
Yeah, wake
really
up call.
okay. It really was. And at that point,
Mhm.
that's when I began my shift of, okay,
Mhm.
I have to learn how to say no. And it's okay to say no to some of these things that are
Mhm.
being put in front of me, and
Mhm.
realize that this time with my family and my children, they're growing up. I want to be present
Mhm.
in their activities, what they're doing, their lives. I want to, be their biggest influence. And to
Mhm.
do that, I have to be able to balance those two things. And so I
Yeah.
did. At that point, I started, slowly. I finished my terms and would slowly,
Mhm.
let go of this and let go of that and really be more intentional in the things that I was saying yes to. And
Mhm.
there's still, being in this profession, it's still a little hard to balance it all the time. But I
Mhm.
certainly made my family a priority. At that point, I knew, okay,
Yeah.
you're not doing enough, and so
Mhm.
just ask God, okay, give me the wisdom, the discernment to know what to let go, what to keep, and how to keep moving forward in that process, so I could have the best of both worlds.
Yeah. And when you agree that once you were aware and you had the wake up call, that is
Mhm.
when you can put those things into motion, right?
Right,
From
exactly.
prayer to actually putting the action in, we have to be aware.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Um, and what advice would you give to other women trying to find that balance while chasing their dreams?
Yeah, you have to be intentional. I
Mhm.
mean, with anything, you
Mhm.
have to just make up your mind. Okay, this is the time I'm setting aside to have family night. This is the time that me and my husband are going to have date night. I can
Mhm.
still be successful in my career. This is the time where I'm going to work my hardest doing what I need to do, but this time is set aside specifically for family time. And when your kids, have activities and things coming, you have to be present. Not that I'm at everything, but
Right.
I'm at most things, and I'm going to be intentional in doing that and trusting God in the process, because everything isn't going to go in the ways that we want them to go all the time. You're going to have disappointments. It just builds your faith. It's part of life's journey. It's part of what God, he wants you to depend on him more in those challenging times. And so faith is huge um, for me in that too, because I feel like when you have that connection with him, then he gives you what you need in that, to be able to have that fulfillment, whether it's work, whether it's family, whether it's whatever it
Mhm.
is, putting him first, making
Yes.
time to spend that quality time with him first. Every morning when I get up, I'm doing my
Mhm.
Bible app, praying,
Yeah.
just taking
Me
some
too.
time.
It's a
I have
ritual.
plans on the Bible app that I love.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
but that's a part of my daily spiritual growth, just
Mhm.
taking some time, you know, to do that. And again, it's about being intentional, making
Mhm.
time for the things that are important to you.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes. And like you said, family comes first.
Hmm.
You have to have that work life balance, and
Absolutely.
God and family comes at the top of that, or it
Absolutely.
should.
Yeah,
Um,
it should. And again,
so
if
I
if
want
you
to. Oh, go
put
ahead.
him first, then whatever your destiny is, whatever dreams, whatever goals you're trying to get to, if you're in alignment with him, he will put those
Mhm.
things in alignment for you.
Yes, He will. Yes, He will. We both have seen it, and God is just amazing. I love
Yes.
Him so much. So I'm not a big feet person. I
Okay.
you know like, don't come near me with all of that, right? And I have feet, and I'm so
Mhm.
grateful for my feet.
Right.
But when my mom got sick, like,
Mhm.
I couldn't stay away from her feet, and just anything that I could do to make her feel better. And
Mhm.
I was massaging her feet every day, and it just didn't matter to me. And
Yeah.
foot health plays such an essential role in overall wellness. How do
Mhm.
you see podiatry fitting into a broader conversation about holistic health for women?
Um, I'm going to say this first too. I don't, because people always ask me, "Do you just like feet?" No, Not particularly. It's not that I, have this affinity for feet, but I have a love for taking care of patients and the patient
Mhm.
interaction.
Yes.
And the broader picture is the biggest thing that I see is a lot of African Americans and patients of color end up with diabetes, which in
Mhm.
turn, um, I see a lot of complications with feet associated with that. And so I think it's important to not, just focus on the feet, but it's the all the complications that can
Mhm.
occur from diabetes. And it's such, it's one of those things where people are like, oh, I feel okay, but it's wreaking
Mhm.
pure havoc in your body, not
Yes.
just um, your feet, but your kidneys, your
Mhm.
eyes,
Yeah.
your heart, your
Mhm.
arteries, the
Right.
blood flow, all of those things.
Mhm.
And so I think it's important as a community, even within physicians, that we need
Mhm.
to be educating our African American population about the importance of keeping their glucose levels under control, so that
Mhm.
they don't end up with a lot of the complications that we see with diabetes. Um,
Yeah. I
you know,
completely agree.
yeah,
I
it's just about
completely
education. So
agree.
I think that's important. Just
Mhm.
educating our people more about the
Mhm.
things that could be done to ensure a better quality of life and longer life. Um,
Yeah.
because again, a lot of times they're like, they feel okay, but those glucose levels are so high, they assume that, oh, I'm fine, and again,
Mhm.
so many complications can occur from that.
Yeah, I completely agree. And with what I do at Team Angie Fitness, by empowering women over 35 to prioritize their health holistically, mind, body, and spirit,
Yes.
so many of the women I work with struggle with mobility or the
Hmm.
confidence to start moving again.
Hmm.
And I think so many of us too, not just women, but just people of color and people in general, don't understand how our feet is connected to so many organs in our bodies. So
Hmm.
when we're in the mall and we see the people that are wanting us to come in and have our feet rubbed, that it's an intention behind that, because everything, every part of our foot, every toe, everything is connected to other organs in our body, or to organs in our body.
Hmm.
And I knew that too. That's why I rubbed my mom's feet so much,
Yes.
because I knew that it also affected other parts of her body.
Hmm.
So I'd love to hear your thoughts on how our work could align to inspire women to take control of their wellness. So you do podiatry, I do, health and wellness and fitness. How would you see that as a collective helping and inspiring our women to take control of their wellness?
Absolutely. It's so important to move our bodies. Um,
Hmm.
and not just for diabetes, high blood pressure, heart
Yeah.
disease, high
Hmm.
cholesterol, all of those things, stress, all of those things over time take a toll on our bodies. And the things that we need
Hmm.
to do are, number one, like you said, move our bodies,
Hmm.
exercise alone, just a little bit, a few times a week, helps to reduce blood pressure, can
Hmm.
help with heart disease, helps to reduce
Hmm.
glucose levels associated with diabetes, helps to
Hmm.
reduce stress. There's so many benefits in doing that. Um, so I believe, just in general, working together, to just collaborating to encourage, especially Black women, um,
Hmm.
because we are take on the role of everything and have so much stress, which in turn, affects our health mentally and physically. And
Yeah.
so, to be able to, one, include meditation in our daily lives,
Hmm.
to have a spiritual connection with that, to move our
Hmm.
bodies, to improve our health. I, earlier this year, went to the doctor for my physical and had some numbers that I didn't like, and had to make some significant
Changes.
changes
Hmm.
in my diet,
Hmm.
to reduce, and things to reduce my stress, and
Hmm.
things that move my body more, to take off some pounds, and to improve my overall health. I have a really poor family history. My father passed away suddenly at 39 of a massive heart attack. So it
30.
looks like the picture of health. That's the
Yeah.
other thing. A lot of times, we think, people who are sick look a certain way, but there are
Yeah.
people, you know, again, young, look young, but have heart disease, high blood pressure, horrible
Yeah.
eating habits,
Yeah. Yeah.
contribute to all of these complications and
Mhm.
disease processes that lead to
Mhm.
other issues. And so it's important that we are promoting healthy diet, uh,
Mhm.
exercise,
Mhm.
mental health. Feeding ourselves spiritually on a regular basis.
Mhm.
Um, and again, I'm teaching this too as well to my patients when they come in. They're talking about their feet, but I'm also, especially my diabetic patients in particular, because they are the ones that are most at risk. I'm also
Mhm.
telling them, hey, it's not just about your feet; it's about all these other organs that are being affected by
Mhm.
that. So, again, as women, and even as we get older, this was another thing. When I went for my physical, just
Mhm.
when menopausal, the phases of menopause come in, and it affects our bone density. We're more prone to
Mhm.
fractures and things like that. But the thing that helps that is movement, uh,
Yes.
muscle strengthening things to strengthen the bones.
Mhm.
Again, all of that. But it's about continuing to be active on a regular basis.
Amen. I
Mhm.
don't care what I don't care what medication you take to lose weight or whatever. It's always
Yes.
going to come back to nutrition and
Absolutely.
exercise.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's
And that's what
right.
people don't
That's what's gonna
understand.
maintain. I know. And it's again, it's something that you have to be intentional about. It
Mhm. You
is,
do.
and not that it's easy. And if you fall off one day, then the next day you start over. That's why I'm like,
That's
okay,
right.
just because I fell off tonight doesn't mean for the
Yes.
next, 2 weeks I'm just gonna have. So it's about when you fall off the horse, just get back on, and keep it moving. Every day is a new day. You can start over,
Every day is
and you
yes.
don't have to wait
Thankful
till
to God.
January. Why not, you know,
Now,
because
right.
that's where I always like, okay, I'm gonna in 2 weeks, I'm gonna
Yeah.
on Sunday in January, I'm gonna start going to the gym. Why not now? You know,
Listen, that is, I mean, for the business I'm in, that's the story of
yeah,
my life. That's what people say. I'll see you in
yeah,
January. Really? You're
right,
going to see me in
right,
January?
right.
Okay. Well,
But
what if your body says, no, you won't? You know what I'm saying?
right,
You don't know that January is going to come for you. So
right.
what are you waiting on?
Yes, exactly, exactly.
So I want to move on to your goals for the future of your practice and how do you hope to impact your patients and community in the years to come?
Um, I will always mentor other women who are well interested in the profession. I love that.
Mhm.
Um, I do lots of outreach for community health fairs with different churches. There's a big one
Mhm.
at that I do every year at Ford Field Men's Health
Mhm. Mhm.
fair, which is a huge event. Our Black men need that, and
Yes.
it's nice. I've been
Yes.
doing that for oh gosh, probably 6, 7 years, and every year the
Mhm.
crowd gets bigger, which makes me happier to see even more of our
Mhm.
men coming out, getting
Yeah.
proper health care. So, or getting screenings, so they
Mhm.
know, if there's an issue, and to follow up with that. So I'll
Mhm.
continue to do that as well. I'm in my latter years. Not really. I have more work years behind me than in front of me.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I have kids who are still in college and one in high
Mhm.
school going to college. So I certainly will continue to practice actively, probably another 10 years. I have two other
Mhm.
doctors within my practice too,
Mhm.
and after the 10 years, I would still, I'll still work because I love what I
Mhm.
do, but I
Yeah.
just won't be working as hard as I'm working now. But, and at that point, I would also um, do more, I think, in the community as far as my volunteer time within my
Mhm.
sorority,
Mhm.
within the Links organization, and again,
Mhm.
within my profession, as a whole. I
Yeah.
think it's so important to still encourage young people, black females and males, the
Mhm.
importance of going into the health profession. I think a lot of people kind of fell off after COVID, the
Right.
burnout. and we really do have a shortage of healthcare
I
professionals
keep
since
hearing that.
less
Yeah.
people are going into medicine, but no matter what happens, we'll always need healthcare. We'll need
Yes.
healthcare workers. We'll need people, to take care of
Mm-hmm.
us when we are ill.
Yeah.
So I continue to encourage, my young people to do that, and again, continuing to mentor, continuing to, reach out to the community, continuing to educate
Mm-hmm.
the community about the importance of, not just taking care of their feet, but taking care of their bodies in general. Continuing to encourage. It's interesting. In my office, yes, I'm treating feet, but I also feel, I know, like I'm impacting people in other ways because I don't know how I connect with my patients in ways where they feel comfortable enough talking to me about things that they may not talk about
Mm-hmm.
to anybody else or other people in their family. And so
Mm-hmm.
there have been many times that I have stopped and just prayed with my patients.
Mm.
Um, it reminds me. There was a period of my life in my late 30s where I was like, what is my purpose? What is my
Mm-hmm.
purpose? Because the purpose is not necessarily your profession.
Right.
God created us to for other things, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out, oh Lord, what's my purpose? I'm reading all these books and trying to, Lord, tell me what's my purpose. And then I have a patient that's been a long time patient for many years that was born with spina bifida, and it was really a miracle. But
Mm-hmm.
he became my friend as well, and so he came in the office, and I was like, I'm trying to figure out my purpose, and he looked at me like, "Are you what? Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm reading these books and da da da," and he's like, "You live in your purpose every day, and how your interactions with the patients. You don't know." How much you affect them, and
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, oh my gosh. Yeah, it was like this epiphany. And so I
Mm-hmm.
realized that, my purpose is to be a blessing to everybody that I come in contact with on a daily
Mm-hmm.
basis. God, help me
Amen.
when I get up, every morning I'm praying, Lord, help me to be a blessing to someone else. Help me, you know, to be able to help somebody else. And so,
Lord, thank you. Oh my gosh, Tara, this has been amazing. What a legacy you're leaving. And we align in so many ways. We really do in terms of from the Bible app all the way to asking what our purpose is as we're living in our
yes,
purpose.
right,
you know,
right.
being there to help people, like I said at the beginning, is what God wants us to do. And He'll show us through our gifts
Mhm,
how to do that and
mhm.
how we are doing that.
Yeah.
You have been an incredible example to the female community and just to our community as Black people, period. And I just want to thank you so much for coming and talking to me in your scrubs and taking time out of your busy schedule to speak to our audience and to inspire our young women and our older women, because we all have dreams and goals beyond what we've done in our life thus far, right? It never stops. So I just want to thank you again and again and again and again. And I hope you come back and see me soon.
Okay.
And to that, I will see you. And I pray that you have an amazing rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.